Welcome in, everybody, and happy Tuesday. Paladins is back after a quick break, and we're jumping right into the Paladins Minor League. It's going to be a fun day, a little bit of a break, but I'm excited to jump back into it. I'm Dolson. Joining me for the first set of the day, of course, is Kresnik here. It's been a little bit of a break, Kres, but some good matches today to lead us back in.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're coming back from that break with a great game. I mean, Penta Sour, right?
Yep.
The Classico, basically, from last phase of the PML coming back. And Penta didn't do too hot last time, but they've looked pretty different, I would say, roster-wise and gameplay-wise from week one.
Well, that's so important to look at. I mean, of course, it can't be mentioned enough. I mean, these are your MSI winners in Penta, and as such, some of them getting picked up, moved into the Premier League. It's been a different look. Standings-wise right now, they're down in fourth place as Sour Team is up on top at 3-1-4. All Business, a new look at their team as well, puts them in second. They're going up against One Trick Pony today. That'll be an interesting matchup to look at. But, I mean, to your point, Sour Team Penta, if you're going by history, this is Sour Team's game to lose.
Yeah, for sure. Looking back there. But for how they've been playing this season, I think it could be really close. I think both teams just lost a close 3-2 to All Business.
Right.
So if with All Business looking great and both Sour Team and Penta having that kind of fight in them, I think it could be close. It could be like the Penta versus Sour Team we've kind of come to expect, I would say, from the past.
Right. I mean, and it's an important matchup standings-wise. I mean, they have a 2-map lead, of course, over All Business. So, you know, if they win this one 3-2, All Business wins their matchup a little bit more convincingly. You know, standings start to shuffle around, so it's going to be a fun one to watch. Over on the Sour Team side, though, the guy that I kind of hone in on, because I think he's had a great start to this minor league split, is Uber Spady, in that, you know, it's kind of under the radar for a little bit in the last minor league split, going over to Sour Team now. And I just think he's played phenomenally. I mean, over the past few weeks, I feel like that's a name in all of our games that we've had to mention every single time. And I expect him to have a big one today against Penta.
I mean, he's been a grinder for the longest time, I feel. I can't remember a time when he wasn't playing in EU. I used to not pay as much attention to it. I was focused when I was competing, but every time I would watch a game, I'd see him in it, whether it was Tier 3, Tier 2, climbing all the way up. And he's clearly proven himself as someone who's flexible and able to compete at this level in his favorite champions.
I mean, if we look over then at Penta, you know, they're the team that's gotten, I mean, decimated is not the right word, but you have 3 members of your team all going into the PPL. You have to make replacements. You know, Cisse has kind of been in and out of that roster. Hayes, I believe, is the one who's now filling in for Ninu. Is that kind of where you look for Penta to step up, that Hayes role? I mean, it's a very consistent now-looking Sour Team. It's a big matchup for Penta. Who do you maybe look at on their side?
I would say just the DPS duo in general, right? We still have Slopodopoulos kind of proving himself in the whole PC thing, and Hayes coming in. I mean, he played a lot in the past. He played for Cryptic in EU when they were there, and he's kind of just coming back. I don't remember seeing his name for quite a while, so needs to make a statement definitely, but I think it's on both of the DPS duo, I would say, for that team to make the difference in this game.
Well, the standings differences aside, on paper, still going to be a fun matchup. Let's take a look at the map bans and see what these teams got rid of. Frozen Guard, Bazaar.
No.
Every single time you're on the desk with me, it's Bazaar.
It's good because that means
Fish Market Ascension Peak
I wouldn't have gotten to cast it anyway.
That's true. No, that's very true. Fish Market Ascension Peak, both gone. Interesting choices there. I mean, Bazaar, honestly, for some teams, seems to be a map that they really enjoy going to, but kind of other teams just want to get rid of it. Maybe is it just kind of a weird map, caters to some interesting play styles, and just don't want to go there?
It's still new. I mean, some people haven't really had the time to practice it. One thing is, every map that was banned is a wide map. Kind of that same play style that people just don't want to bring to. So I expect to see a lot of tanky brawliness, I would say, throughout this. People don't want to play those heavy backline reliant compositions. Just want to get in each other's faces, and if the map's big, they can't do it unless they get an Ash. And then it just gets banned. So.
Well, those, I mean, given that type of map, I mean, the way the meta is shifting right now, I mean, kind of that brawly front line is the way things tend to go anyway. And, you know, I mean, more so console league, but we've started to see now, every once in a while, teams will, you know, opt towards maybe 1 or 2 of those flex bans, let through one of those real high priority frontliners, whether it's Makoa or Atlas. I mean, Khan has started to get a lot more play. I mean, kind of going toe-to-toe with Ash. I mean, it's been a little bit, notably 1 exact week since we've had any Paladins. I don't imagine the meta has shifted way too much since then. Do you imagine, you know, Khan, Ash still at the forefront?
I would say so, at least in terms of being first pick, just because of the bans. We can see what map we go to see where they might prefer to go. If it is still a bigger map, maybe we do see the Ash and Shattered Desert, so I would not be shocked, absolutely, to see Ash.
That makes sense.
Pretty good on this map, kind of rotation heavy. You do play around your backlines a little bit, on this, kind of almost like an open Jaguar Falls mid, where you're constantly just cycling and trying to find the best angle. And point time's hard to get on this map, I feel, because you're constantly in that center. You know, when you have maybe a Barrack and Ara trading, one will get 20%, and then too much damage is coming in for them to stay on. So more focused on the flanks and the rotations on this one.
Well, it's a fun map to watch. I mean, flanking is a huge thing to bring up. I mean, it's this big rotational map, this big delicate dance that the teams end up doing. A little bit of technical issues going into picks and bans today, so we're going to have to jump right into the game here in a second. The casters will take you through everything. Send it down to them to get it started.
Thank you, boys. Up there from the desk, we already have Sour Team versus Penta here. I'm fun, but I'm not here alone, of course. I wouldn't be anywhere without my partner, Nick. Yeah, thank God, right? Yeah, yeah, don't leave me on
It's
here.
dangerous to go alone.
Yeah, it is. Take this, a partner. And here he is, Nick, on Shadow Desert. Now, like Dolson had said, there were a little bit of technical issues in terms of picks and bans. So, I mean, we're going to see the characters and the teams it is that they decide to go with on Shadow Desert. Kresnik had mentioned a good point of Ashe. And, of course, you can expect to see her on here. She'll be able to cover a lot of ground here. And you do see it on the side of Penta. You see the Ashe and Nara, Furia, Maeve, Tyra, as opposed to Sour Team's Leon, Khan, Barrack, Grover, and Cassie. Now, that's very, very interesting because what both teams tell me is, at least from my personal opinion, is that there is a lot of aggression here, especially on Penta's side due to that Furia inflame.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of damage amp going on in this game. Damage amp appears to be the wave as both teams ride out to meet each other headlong in battle. Sour Team versus Penta was the premier matchup of Europe last phase. We'll see if it retains that title here in this phase as well. Early capture percentage not really going anyway in particular. You're looking for that first pick. Like Kresnik mentioned, this is a very, very open point. So unless you're literally Inara, you kind of, and even if, look at how, you know, even scared she has to be of being so out in the open. You have to play these angles and look for that first blood.
You already see the Grover staying next to the Khan, staying next to the Cassie, make sure they have that healing up and make sure they can be aggressive when they need to. But a couple shots on the Grover to make him low is going to force him to back off. Uber's Payday goes a little bit too far, gets a little bit too greedy, ends up getting picked off. Unfortunately, Sheepa now being marked by Tyra. Eagle eyes on her, but Perdo finds one on Ashe, so trading 1-1.
There it is, 39% off the back of first blood. Penta are in position, but now, as the battlefield starts to even itself out again, Ovum looking to push down Sheepa. He's getting aggressive. He might die for this, but Ovum never afraid to lay his life on the line.
That's for sure. Uber's Payday in that case actually gets the kill on him with William Birkin following up soon after that. 2 kills for Sour Team is going to allow them to push up a little bit more. You already see him up on the right, but he is by himself though, eating a lot of damage, being forced to dodge roll out of there. Khan already on really the back, not necessarily on the back foot, but on the flank, trying to see if he can get a few shots in here and there. Nothing too crazy, but I did see the Inflame actually end up going in, and that's the biggest go button you could possibly see. We see 2 ultimates, Crossfire and Inflame going in, but Perdo managing to pick off Hayes is going to keep that Inflame on hold.
Wow, I'm surprised. I think, you know, Sour Team do a really good job of getting the gloves up and mitigating most of their losses, but up over the top comes Assert Dominance. These first ultimates from Penta are swinging this fight.
That's for sure. Perdo goes down, and thankfully for Boca being in the right place at the right time, DPS is gone. Macorial goes down as well. Clock strikes midnight, and Ovum finds a kill on his own on Uber's Payday. Barrack trying to dash out, can't make it out, unfortunately, while the percentage is steadily piling up for Penta. Hayes already in the back line trying to get a few daggers, but he doesn't find any kills and is forced to back off.
And Penta are going to capture this first payload. A couple of good daggers is going to clean up Perdo, ensuring that the momentum from this victory, Coriel gets a long-distance shoulder bash kill to cap it all off. But now the momentum off the back of that point capture can be effectively transitioned into an offense here for Penta. Not to say that it's tough to get the, you know, things rolling on Shadow Desert. I think up where Barrack is right now is usually about as far as the defense will go in terms of where they want to kind of root themselves in and start making that defense flank here in the truest sense of the word. Look at Hayes looking for these angles, looking for these backline knives.
Yeah, he's definitely trying to get the daggers off into Sour Team, trying to see if they can do something. But since Ovum fell down, Bears Slopadopoulos followed by Boca. Double kill for Uber's Payday. Looking for a third. Finds it on the Hayes. Coriel ends up ending that streak, but he's going to be the next one to be staggered. They don't want to kill him yet, and they're going to finally find the shot to do what they can, but they waited a little bit too long. He's going to be able to charge out of there with Ovum's wall. Help from Mother Earth going to keep him alive.
Well, he does have to back up all the way, so not the full stagger, but, you know, effectively forcing him back to his team. Hopes at least by a little bit of time, I guess. Could have been better, could have been worse. 1:15 on the clock. Ultimate starting to come back up for Penta. Their second round. Seismic crash to the back line is largely mitigated thanks to the nice barricade from Barrick.
Yeah, that's going to keep everyone alive and well. He did find a good stun, but it wasn't enough. The rest of his team actually weren't able to follow up, but erased from existence is Perdot. It's going to be enough. The little daggers, little stones it is that Ovum shoots out from Inara is going to be enough to end his life, but so is Coriel. 1 for 1 now down, but the difference is Sour Team has defender's advantage. They're going to have their teammate back up and ready to fight immediately, which is going to force Penta to back off.
People trying to pile under the shower head of healing that is Furia. That is a Solar Blessing talent, not very often run. Something that used to be pretty core to a particular strategy, but Furia has been more or less shield to heal for the most part this season.
Right.
Up in the air with the disengage. This might be a quiet little end of the round. Bolka does find Uber Spady. Might be able to get something going off the back of it. They're going to try for it. Enflame is popped in the last 7 seconds of the round.
Wow, yeah, without really anyone able there to be able to touch, Ovum finally makes it there in time, just in the right amount of time. But the Enflame, it's really interesting. They used it a lot earlier than you would have expected. The shots from Sheepa are going to leave Ovum really, really low. That Enflame would have been really good, probably use about now, but Hayes ends up getting the kill under the healer. The crossfire's going to be enough, but not before Khan can make sure he finishes off Slapodopoulos. But 2 kills for Hayes, 1 for Slapodopoulos is going to make it easy for the rest of Penta to push this one in.
It's kind of a funny time to talk about it because he just died, but Sheepa really, truly has done a very good job of frontlining that first round. Being very difficult to kill, using cooldowns effectively, shield effectively, staying near ineffable to get as much sustain out of that little tree as possible. But it doesn't change the story here of 2-0 for Penta. I feel like you have to call that an Enflame for movement speed just to get an R to the payload in time. Really weren't able to use any of the damage amp half of it, but it was still enough, which is what's so weird to me. Sometimes you get that perfect Enflame, like the very first one we saw with the crossfire ripping into the team fight as well, and it doesn't get anything. Then you get that Enflame that's basically just getting movement speed to the entire team, and that ends up, winning them the fight. I don't know.
Right, yeah. I mean,
sometimes, one ability can make all the difference. A couple of good shots, and it does make all the difference for Penta in round 1.
That is for sure. Ovum going to keep alive just from that blessing it is that Furia ends up having that Pyre Strike, going to be enough to provide the healing. Decide to take the talent to make sure they can heal, but Assert Dominance comes through. Ovum goes down, but not before 2 individuals on Penta get a kill of their own with the third. Boca with the double. Coriel with one of them. Tyra ends up marking that Cassie all the way over there. Uber's Payday is the next one to go down, forcing the Leon Perdot all the way back to his base, waiting for the rest of his team to come up.
Pretty good fight from Hayes there as well. You saw him just before that Assert Dominance went out. He was kind of 1v1ing Cassie, zoning her out, making sure she wasn't able to be a part of that fight. Get a triple, Assert Dominance goes off, and clearly the call is made because you see him kind of snap over to that half of the fight to get involved. Sour Team wiped in the last try. 1 for 1 so far in this one. They have to win it.
Yeah, they do. 99% on the point. But 2 kills, 1 for Ovum, 1 for Slapodopoulos, respectively. It might be enough to do something, but with how low Ovum's looking, the Earthen Guard going to keep him alive and well, but not before Uber's Payday comes in right in time to get 1. Pops Hayes into the air, gets the double kill, but Coriel and Boca, well aware of their teammates' fall, and make sure that they clean up right after that and net them the 3rd point on Shattered Desert.
I was just going to say, look at how good Sheepa is continuing to do as a frontline here, and then he just gets bulldozed by a Pirate Strike. Tough way to go, I'm sure. 6-1 for Bolka. 14 streak burning for the Furia player so far. Nice shoulder bash from distance. Maybe an even better disengage to keep Uber Spady safe. He's still on the Executioner's block, and the axe will eventually fall. Off goes his head. But on the other side of the team fight, Sheepa has found one to compensate.
That is for sure. 1 for 1 once again. Now they're pushing, Penta's pushing into Sour Team's territory. They're going to have their teammate back and ready to fight. You already see Penta being forced to back off. They already lost Slobodopolis, and in that case, they definitely have to make sure they give him respect. He makes it back just in time, but the bullets from Khan and the positioning are going to be enough to land him a little bit of damage with a crossfire. You heard the Huntress mark. You know she's looking at you, and she finds not one, but 2 kills, with one of them being picked up by Ovum, the other one for Coriel, and that's going to be something for Penta.
I mean, the amount of impact Crossfire can have when nobody's looking at you, and that's exactly what we see right there. The tank's causing mayhem, distracting, turning heads. Tyra comes in with the damage amp, comes in with the big old bullets and 40% increased attack speed, movement speed, all kinds of passive stats galore. There's a minute on the clock, Stefan, but I don't know if Penta are going to need it.
Definitely not. Nice seismic crash coming out for Ovum. He's going to be able to get 3 with one of them. William Birkin fall. And immediately after that, the Inflame comes out, but Penta is going to be able to not only clutch that, but make sure that they're in a good enough spot for that to work. Very well played by them. 4-0.
Yeah, man. They, just with that type of compositions, whether it's, you know, the seismic crash, whether it's the Inflame Crossfire, they have all these, like, very impactful combinations.
Right.
I didn't even really see it too impactful of a Midnight, and that's a really big one to talk about. Yes, it falls off later in the game, but it feels like they didn't even need to pull out all of the tools that they had up their sleeves. So many good seismic crashes, a lot of good Inflame Crossfires as well. That's just a lot of offensive potency to try and slow down.
Right, exactly. And I give props to Hayes for really not even using that Midnight most of the game. You knew Cassie's on the other side. You didn't hear a scout either on their side. So you already knew that he was saving it for that to make sure that the rest of his team could see that. However, I mean, Penta did do really good. I really like their composition. I like the aggression they were able to provide. And clearly they knew what they were doing with that comp and on that map. 4-0, I mean, you don't see it happen as often.
It's a lot of fun to watch a team like that plays so well around each other, and they draft very good ultimates that synergize with one another. It's just fun to watch everybody, you know, slam the gas pedal and win a fight like that.
Right, of course. And I mean, like, just having the Inflame, you brought up a good point. The Inflame for the movement speed. It's not something you ever see.
Got to do what you got to do.
Hear about it, but Inara's slow. She's not going to make it to the point on time, so they got to make sure that the Inflame actually is going to provide enough for her to be able to get back, not just with the damage amp, but with everything in general. And one thing I always thought of was Boca during that match. I mean, that was really, really effective. His gameplay, the Furia, was just so well done.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the lesser seen talents, you can see that when the Pyre Strike just stops moving, it means that you're running Solar Blade. I was going to say, it means one of 2 things, but nobody ever runs Exterminate where it just stops on the enemy and just beams them forever. This is just to provide a ton of single target healing, as well as you can still be offensive with it, but you know, you mostly want to use that to heal up your frontliners. The healing charts, despite that talent choice, are going to be relatively equal.
Yeah, we definitely see ineffable. In this case, 134,000 healing, 750 to Boca's 138,705. It definitely was a close battle in that case, battle of the healers, considering they had cauterized 2s, some cauterized 3, and Slobodopolis would cauterize 1, mainly prioritizing the Wrecker. That's still a lot for Grover to be able to pump out, knowing just how much anti-heal it is that they have. And everyone did pretty good. You see the slash lines on Penta are mostly positive. You do see the fact that everyone has these extremely high assists. They were just on it.
Yeah, I mean, outside of Boca, everybody was like pretty close to even, maybe a little bit positive, maybe a little bit negative. Nobody really kind of feeding their brains out or anything. It's just Boca, you know, having the opportunity to pop off a little bit. Get a couple of those last hits. Reminiscent somewhat, I think, of Mike's performance on Shadow Desert with Fury. I mean, how can we forget the legend himself?
Of course, spam that bike to help Mike. And unfortunately for this game, Shattered Desert, they do end up going up 4-0. We'll come back right after this break for Game 2.
Alienware, the official PC provider of the Paladins minor league.
All right, well, standings be damned. Penta come out very hot. 4-0 on Shattered Desert. Convincing fashion. Fun one to watch. Sour team now on the back seat. I mean, you look at the standings. You know, if they lose this one, all business suddenly in a much better position for taking that first place spot in their next game. Kresnik, fun one to watch. You mentioned how this Penta team kind of started to shift around, look a lot better with the addition of Slobodopolis. And, you know, the slash lines weren't that great. I think 5, 6, and then double-digit assists. But, you know, the crossfires, he did what he needed to do on that Tyra.
I mean, that's just Tyra, right? I mean, you're going to get a lot of assists. Maybe you don't get a lot of kills. Maybe you don't get a ton of damage. But you're providing that damage boost to everybody else. You're making everybody else's stats look nicer. That's
right.
really what it is. It's almost like an off-tank life, right?
Sure.
You throw yourself away so everyone else has a better KD. Tyra's kind of, you're sacrificing that damage in that role just to make everyone else a little bit better.
And I have to give a nod to Bolka as well. I mean, it's got to be tough. You know, you win MSI with your team. Essentially, Ovim technically wasn't there for MSI. Yeah. I mean, Accentra filled in for Ovim, but it's really those two who are remaining from the last split Penta team, and he had a huge game on the Furia that time around. The ultimates all sticking right when they needed to. And then Ovim, I mean, beautiful seismic crash to really seal things up. I mean, this is such a hard Penta team, I think, to put my finger on. I can't quite tell where they're at, but if they keep playing like this, they might be able to make kind of a mid-split run back to that first seed spot.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the changes have been fantastic for them. We'll have to see kind of how they match up against All Business and One Trick Pony. I feel like those are teams that have kind of made their mark specifically All Business. So we'll see once they play them again. They had a close loss last time, but they have more time to gel. That was their first game with Hayes, I believe, too. So they just need more time. And I think right now, they don't need time to beat Sour Team, it seems like. But Sour Team, they have a chance to come back.
Well, 4-0 on Shattered Desert, map number 1. Map number 2 waits in the wings. If they can do it in just as convincing fashion, they'll feel very comfortable. It is going to be Ice Mines.
Very different.
Very, very different, right? I mean, we've seen some 4-0s recently. It's kind of gone back and forth, either short or very long. What kind of compositions maybe do you look for on Ice Mines?
A lot of good AoE zoning. So Combustible Drogos, Tyra still very effective. Willow, kind of always been a niche pick on this map, and now that she's a little bit more than a niche pick in general, you're going to see a lot of her, maybe even banned, I would say. So yeah, AoE healers, AoE zoning, just anything AoE is good when that midpoint is as small as it is.
You mean in circle-shaped?
Yeah, circles. Circles. That's all this map is.
It's the map of circles. I'm dying to see some dredge at some point here on Ice Mines. It hasn't happened in a little while. Sorry?
Maybe next patch with the new ult?
That's true. No, you're right. With the speedy ultimate, we were watching Ice Mines. It must have been a week or two ago, and we saw the dredge kill.
It was actually, I've never seen one in a game like that before. At least not on like a setup.
Right.
It was a barrack dashing into a wall on accident.
Yeah, right. A little bit of an asterisk, but a dredge ult kill nonetheless. We'll have to see if there's maybe some dredge on Ice Mines. Let's send it down to the casters to find out.
Thank you, boys, from the desk. Really appreciate that. Penta up 1-0. You guys see it on the scoreboard. Reading and Weep themselves. They did really good on Shattered Desert. 4-0 against Sour Team. Now we're on Ice Mines. You don't normally see it second pick. You don't normally expect to see it second pick. Most people save it either to the last, or I guess they sort of just try to get out of the way. But I've seen it more last pick than anything. Oh, no dredge.
Well,
sorry, Dave.
Started to evolve a little bit from a map that, and it still is used as a map that people just use to slow down the set, but some people have been brought here so often to have their sets slowed down and their advances that they've just gotten good at it. They've spent the time, they've invested, learned the strategies, and figured out a way to actually be dominant on this map rather than have it be a thorn in their side. Both teams riding out to meet each other. I appreciate this map because you get to see stuff like Combustible Drogos. You get to see a couple of different characters. There's one of them. That's the old glory days of Drogos. Those big old fire spits connecting. Slot finds the first blood.
And that football really just trying to use that Pyre Strike, using that Solar Blessing once again to make sure he can keep Ash up, trying to keep him alive. Shifa, but unfortunately, we already see Penta already pushing them back. Reason why Furia died was unfortunately because she was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, but Hayes living within an inch of his life. 169%. Unfortunate for him, but he's still alive, and Penta's percentage is steadily climbing.
It's hard to get back in there. Fire Spit comes up over the wall. 30% until a Dragon Punch is ready to go. Another one. When you're looking at this, and this is like 1,300 damage per target connection. So it's a lot of ultimate charge if Drogos can get these Fire Spits chained together. And so far, Hayes is having no problems. So far, Penta having no issues as they grab the first payload.
Right, exactly. We already see them holding pretty much this bridge here, coming right outside of the door to meet Sour Team and force them back, or keeping them around this corner. It's really hard for them to find anything with their positioning being so well placed. Even Willow's having trouble. You saw her back off. It's already super low, but the shots of Fire Spit are going to be enough coming out from Hayes to get a little bit of damage on. No kills yet, but the next Fire Spit coming through finds two more. The both tanks already looking pretty low. Solar Blessing going to keep them way above ground.
Yeah, Dragon Punch is ready to go if they want to use that to sort of kick this one off. And just as we say it, so shall it be. Dragon Punch looking for a target. We'll find one. Look at this on the backside, though. Perdo and Uberspady have fallen to Bolka and Slop.
Unfortunately for them, once again,
The
said it
young
before.
flank.
Wrong place, wrong time. You get rid of the Anar. You get rid of your point tank. You get rid of the 2 in the back. Now 3 are down. Now Sour Team's really just trying to fight for life here. You see that Khan and Cassie are both up here holding this bridge, trying to make sure they don't get any free high ground. No space pretty much allowed up there to try and go up there, try and deny them that access to it. Solar Blessing does come up there, though. Fire Spit to come through does find its mark, man. And Combustible Drogos on Ice Mines. You see why it's so heavily picked. It's forcing everyone pretty much to run away and give them more respect. Perdo, though, trading out 1 for 1. Cassie's down. Perdo's down. Is that the first kill they've gotten?
It damn well might be.
It is.
And it
is the first kill, yeah.
Perdo from distance. Willow connections are good, but is it enough to stop another 2-0 start from Penta? Assert Dominance is going to attempt. Oh, no, Stefan.
Oh, come on, man. You got to do them like
Yikes.
that. Yeah, that's probably a...
Perhaps the most valuable overpower of all time.
Yeah, and also...
That was winning a tournament, I mean... Agent 007 Coriel here rips poor Ash out of her Assert Dominance. And, by proxy, the final contesting member of the payload, and allows it to roll through for a 2-0 start. What a play, Coriel. Wow. Not anything groundbreaking, but just, you know, those are important ones. Those are important ones to hit, all the same.
I mean, you said Agent 007, regardless. Coriel, his name's James Conn in that case, making sure that James Conn, making sure that the Ash doesn't just keep and stay on that payload. Yeah. I saw the overpower was up, and Sheepa, that's just the presence that Penta has right now. The energy that they're coming with is big enough to the point to where Sour Team is forced to use an ultimate that early. William Birkin, man, already taking so much damage. Solar Blessing is good, but sort of see the problem here a little bit. You already see the Evil Mojo tries to come through, but the Whirlwind, right place at the right time once again. Penta, man, they came here to play. They're looking for something, anything, their chance at life here. Sour Team is drowning Penta, just making sure that they're keeping them just in their place.
Yeah, man, they really just have an answer for everything Sour Team want to throw. Assert Dominance gets overpowered. Evil Mojo gets Whirlwind, and sometimes it's not super difficult for 2 people to just burst through that Grover ultimate. It is early game, so you have that to kind of contend with, but my goodness gracious, Penta is just on a roll. 3-0 start on Ice Mines. This is the best of 5, so they'll need to win another map, even if they can claim this one, but it's a damn good start to 4-0 on both the first 2 picks.
Yeah, I agree with that. Coriel, 0-0-11. Everyone, Slash, Slavadopoulos, inting. He's inting. He's the only one with a death on Penta's side. 1 death to him. Unfortunate. Gotta do better than that, man. I'm just kidding. 3-0 already to Penta. They're doing a really good job with pushing. They have the aggression. They have the advantage. Combustible playing a huge role as well.
That's the funny thing is that 1 kill, those were great shots from Perdo. There's really no other way to slice it. They were long-distance Willow connections from low ground to high ground. Those weren't splash damage explosives. Those were the direct impacts from a good distance away. So unless Perdo, hits those nasty shots, Penta are almost going deathless here. There's an Evil Mojo. We'll finally grab a kill. The second. Sour Team have effectively doubled, tripled their kills in this team fight.
That's unfortunate for them. Uber's payday in this case is going to find the kill onto Hayes. It's going to be the start of Sour Team's, really their momentum, them trying to find a way back. Boca going to vine grip himself out of there. Minute 15 on the clock right now. It is a pause. Unfortunate, not quite sure what it is that's going on. However, Penta up 3-0. First time they've lost momentum on this map. They're doing so well.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world either. When you capture the payload, you get that huge credit bump for everyone on your squad. So losing that team fight just means for you can kind of go back and spend those credits, and you need to solidify that actual lead that you have. It's one thing to have the credits in hand. It's another to have them spent and those passives activated on your items. Given the fact that burning an Evil Mojo and you get to go back, you get to buy items, you look at that team fight loss, and it's like, yeah, whatever. I mean, we kind of actually needed to lose one here. And to be able to get an ultimate while we're doing it, Penta are not really upset by that. They still have 1:23, I think, on the clock.
So
like
1:15.
Plenty of time to get this one rekindled and start pushing again.
Yeah, I mean, we already saw it here. If really there's any way to describe Ice Mines, it's really like a tug of war. You already see that Penta's being forced back. They have to give up that advantage. And when you lose ground to Ice Mines, it can be hard to come back. But like you said, even if they do manage to defend this, it's only 1 point for them. Penta's still in the lead. They still have the ultimates it is they need to use. They still have the presence of mind to know when to use them, what to control, and we've already seen them do it so well, not only on Shattered Desert, but on Ice Mines as well.
Yeah, comeback mechanic would still be enabled if the defense holds here. So even, considering that, there's already been a fight with comeback mechanic in play. Penta have already shown us that they can win those fights, and it's not a big deal for them. That's what's so scary right now if you're rooting for Sour Team, is that Penta have had everything thrown at them, and they have had an answer each and every time.
Right, exactly. Although the assert dominance is here. Again, it's up to Coriel if he's really going to try and look for some type of opportunity, but Ovum goes down due to ineffable? Ineffable. Okay, yeah. In that case, Ineffable does get kill onto Ovum. Does end up killing him, and because of that, they're going to have to wait a little bit more. You see Penta's not being too aggressive. They already lost the Barrack. Barrack's on his way back right now, though. And really, Sour Team just trying to hold. They don't want to get too aggressive of a zone. Last thing you want to lose, like I said, it's like tug of war, is lose that point on Ice Mines, really.
Yeah, there's a lot of ultimates to kind of kickstart this push, if you will, whether it's Overpower, whether it's Dragon Punch. A lot of free kills on the line. They just have to decide what resources they want to use. Nice Fire Spit uproots Inara from the high ground, making her job a lot more difficult. And now Ash, her angles aren't covered anymore, so now she's in an interesting spot.
Oh, but Slapodopolis goes down thanks to Uber's payday. Now we're seeing Sour Team wake up just a little bit. These Fire Spits are hitting, and they're hitting hard, but at the same time, though, it's really going to come down to whether Sour Team feels like they can do this, but Ash is already in the backline. She's zoning off 2 of them. Everyone's sort of split right now on Penta. They're trying to find their ground here. Boca and Hayes are all the way in the back in this case. Uber's payday finds themselves a double kill. It's going to be hard for them to make it back to point. Penta end up losing their ground in this case, but it is only 1-3. And like you said, comeback mechanic is here, so Sour Team still has a chance. Not over yet.
They did just burn Inflame. One of their faster charging ultimates, so it's not the end of the world. That Evil Mojo that was just burned is back up, so you have to be worried about that going into the next round as well. And Penta are probably aware of it. The only ultimate Penta are missing is Scout, which is not the biggest deal. You kind of know where everybody is on Ice Mines. It's not exactly a surprise. Boca does complete his morale boost 3, so Whirlwind's aplenty for this round. Cauterize 3 as well for both Cassie and Drogos. That could prove problematic for the healer of Sour Team, as, yes, 6,000 HPS on the Solar Blessing is a ton, but it becomes burstable once you reduce it by 90%.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely huge for Sour, not for Sour Team, for Penta in this case, because of the fact that they are looking for the Dragon Punch and decide to crash cut through as well, but killing the William Birkin's gonna be enough trying to stop that monster in its tracks. The Evil Mojo comes in as well, trying to see where they can get started, assert dominance to follow through as well, but the Overpower once again, man, Coriel not in Khan's house. That much is for sure. Make sure that Sheepa actually can't stay in that backline. Double kill, Dash gets the kill. Ovum, Slapodopoulos following up with 2 more for Penta is going to leave them 4 down on Sour Team.
It's 2 ways to get a kill in Paladins I absolutely adore, and that's Shoulder Bash and Commander's Grab. Both of them just so satisfying, the long-range Shoulder Bash, but Commander's Grab just looks like you're getting punched in the face and then you die. And who's not a fan of that?
Right, I mean, yeah, literally who's not at all. I mean, it's a complete...
You're a fighting game guy. You can appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. I can always appreciate some good...
My career was punching people in the face till they die.
I can completely understand that. That was really well done from Penta. They do actually manage to close it out 4-2-1. Not a 4-0 in this case, but still a demanding, well, not demanding, I should say a commanding lead in this case for them on Ice Mine. Shattered Desert, a 4-0. This one, a 4-1. I mean, man, I don't know if they could be stopped at this point.
Yeah, a lot to look at, a lot to break down. We'll head to the post-game stats and see what the numbers can tell us. 79K for Perdo. It's a lot of damage, frankly, keeping pace with Heis, his counter-active blaster, but it's still not enough. I mean, Hayes was, we saw him so often crushing these multi-man fire spits, and you're like, wow, he's going to be just way out in front on the damage charts. Healing, again, not really obliterating anyone on any side of things. It's really just about the coordination. Even these slash lines, right? It's the exact same story as the first game. William Birkin probably has the most negative slash line. Bolka has the most positive. And everybody else is like even or a little bit positive or a little bit negative. It's just about the way these team fights happen for Penta. They just win them. They just play them better. They have more answers.
Yeah, I mean, you saw their positioning. You saw where they were. They were up on the bridge, and really Drogoz was really just by himself controlling that side room next to the point. Make sure that nobody got there. The fire spits, shooting it over there is so poignant, so powerful for Haste to be able to do 4, 2, and 6. And like you said, slash lines are, it's either really negative or it's like sort of positive. It's like in that range, like sort of like that middle.
It's not crazy.
Yeah, it's not really super crazy, that middle ground. But I always think of Ovum when I think of Sour Team, because in this game, 5, 2, and 6 was really, really good for him in this case. He did do well. He tried to do the best it was that he can, but I mean, he still carried. Like, I don't know how I should approach this situation by saying that. I mean, like, Ovum did a good job, and he was really, really there for his team. He was able to control that dome shield, was really clutch.
Look at that.
Yeah,
perfect.
That was really good. Perfect.
It's absolutely aligned with the objective as well. There was a really clutch dome shield in that final team fight as well.
That flip.
I was actually able to save Khan's life, so he was kind of off the back of, you know, the evil mojo. You survive the evil mojo, but you're still a little bit banged up, and that dome shield in the pocket was really nice from Ovum, just to give his team a safe haven to be able to bounce back from.
Right, exactly. Dome shield controls so much space, and it was enough not only to control the space, but make sure that Penta closed out the game 4-1. Game 2 in the books for them. Come back right after this break to see if they can clean it up.
Welcome back, guys. Thanks for sticking around. Another Penta victory. Sour Team get their first point of the set, but it's the only point they get there on Ice Mines. 4-0 map 1, 4-1 map 2, and now 1 map away. Kind of coming back into the standings here are Penta. Ice Mines, another quick one here, Kresnik. Lots to look at on the Penta side. Kind of not too much on the Sour Team side. I mean, when you have Ovum on the barrack playing the way he did, you're hard-pressed, I think, to find a win. Yeah,
his point control was just super solid. His shots we saw in that last highlight, really consistent on the people moving vertically. Big thing I want to talk about, though, is I think Hayes' use of Combustible was so good at knocking people out. He had some good knocks from Ashes behind their seat shield to put them in front. One moment, he had a really long-distance one on a Furia that knocked her to the back of a staircase, and there was just no way out for her. He hit one more long-distance rocket, no heals could go to the rest of the team. So sometimes some Drogos just want to put the fire spit where it'll knock the most people around.
Right.
But if you have that sniper combustible that knocks someone into the rest of your team, that's exactly what you want to be doing.
Well, it's so satisfying. I mean, it's hard as a
like, it is very
player
satisfying.
Myself.
You just want to see all the numbers.
Right? You see a group of 5, and you're, oh god, this has got to be it right here. And then maybe the correct play is placing it somewhere else.
That's why you run Masterful, because then you get the big spit, you get the reset, and then you do the spit that matters.
Right. Of course. So if you want satisfying fire spits, listen to this guy over here. A lot of fun to watch, though. I mean, again, coming into this one, I didn't know. I mean, Sour Team had been playing well. I mean, all business now, certainly in the conversation. This is such a swingy Penta team in the sense that, some weeks they'll go down, have a hard week. Some weeks they'll play very well. They're playing very well right now. Only dropped 1 point, 4-0-4-1, maps 1 and 2. Map 3 hangs in the balance, and Bright Marsh it is.
Just picked by Sour, kind of going to a more standard reset map. They just want to take it back to 0. Pretend those last 2 games didn't happen. I don't know what they would draft to differently, I guess, what's been happening. I don't know if their failures have really been draft. I feel like the games have been pretty consistent. Penta, I think, is just firing on all cylinders.
Thoughts on Pip in that last one? Do you maybe try the Pip again here if you're Sour Team?
Not with how little value the Evil Mojo's got. I felt like they weren't really able to confirm. I mean, Resilience came online early because of the quick capture of the point, but they just weren't able to get forward enough to follow up on Uber's Pele's dives. Yeah,
I mean, there was just way too much pressure, I think, from Penta in that one. Sure. I mean, honestly, I think you go into Bright Marsh, you're feeling very comfortable here. The Drogos worked so well for Hayes. Combustible, not quite as, forefront here on Bright Marsh.
I don't know if I want to take Ovum to Bright Marsh ever.
Sure.
I mean, I say Ovum specifically because that when he was on Armada for the CIS representative from the PGS, then coming into LAN, I mean, they won every Bright Marsh game. Like, even against PPL teams, they would just win Bright Marsh and then lose the rest of the set. I don't know if I ever want to play Ovum on this map.
Yeah, maybe not, but you're going to have to. Game 3 hangs in the balance. Can Penta do it? Let's find out.
Thank you guys from the desk. Bobby spoke into existence. He did make a very interesting point. Brightmarsh seems to be the bane a little bit of Penta's existence in this case. He mentioned the fact we're not put Ovum on this map. Now, what do you think it is, or at least part of the reason as to why? I know they were explaining it a little bit up on the desk, but why do you think this is like such a wishy-washy map for Penta?
I don't know if it's so much that it's a wishy-washy map for Penta as it is just a good map for Sour Team.
Okay.
This was one. There was, I can't remember what exactly set it was, but Sour Team were getting kind of stomped. I think they were down like 3-0, about to get 4-0'd, and then they turned it all the way back around.
Yeah.
Paradose on the Grok as well. Maelstrom Grok is something that he's tried to make it a thing for a while, and he definitely has a little bit of a soft spot for it, if you will.
Yeah.
A lot of fun to watch this character, though. Frankly, a very old build, very old talent, but still one of my absolute favorites to play.
Of course, the Shock Pulse, the Lightning, unlimited power himself. Choreo being body blocked, man. There's literally like 3 people just around him, preventing him from moving at all. Haste trying to find a couple daggers here and there, but has to run all the way away once Choreo goes down. Now they're watching Ovum. Now they're getting some damage onto him, making sure he cannot push up. Gets picked off, snapped immediately away. Unfortunate for him. Uber's Payday and the rest of Sour Team are now pushing them up, getting an aggressive zone with 27% on the point.
Well, playing into the dead zone as a Nara, having the Ying bouncing clones off of Wardersfield, frankly, is a good bounce target as well. And Paradose good enough to, guess what, just hit the bounce the old-fashioned way onto you.
Right.
Nice little flank happening here, but Hayes is low and out of cooldown, so, you know, not super worried about him in actuality. Uberspadi's giving him the glance back every couple of minutes or every couple of seconds. And now Maeve is a little bit more of a threat, but look at this. Uberspadi not afraid to challenge.
Yeah, I mean, in this case, I mean, I'm just watching. If I'm really worried about somebody, I'm definitely worried about the Anar. That dead zone playing such a big role. Choreo goes down to Uber's Payday. Haste trying to find some daggers. Oh my goodness. Ooh. The blaster damage coming out and making sure that Haste goes down.
That's just a good shot, man. Low to high direct impact's the hardest thing to do with Willow, but just as effective as shooting high to low and getting that AoE damage. You still get your Blast Flower stack. You get more damage for the direct impact, obviously. Here comes the Illusory Rift to try and slow this one down just a little bit. Penta's going to do what they can, but I'm telling you what, man, this is just a Sour Team map.
Yeah, I mean, you already see it right here. You see the aggression coming out from them. Reach for the sky. Make sure they're doing what they can. You see the thunder coming down, making sure he can get some damage on the Penta. Finds one on the Ovum. Choreo looking like he's going to be the next one to go down, and he is. Unfortunately, so is Slopadopoulos. 3 down. Haste being forced to run away. Boca as well. The last 2 men standing, trying to make sure they can live for just a little bit longer. A minute 30 on the clock, and we already see Sour Team. No deaths on the board.
This is just chaotic, man. I mean, this is looking like the first 2 games, but obviously flipped as the boys of Penta struggling to find a footing. Ovum's wall goes up, the Wardersfield goes down, but he's put under the dome shield. Welcome to the Thunderdome, baby. You've got front row seats, brother.
Oh yeah, brother. Ovum ends up going down as well. And Ineffable finding the damage on not only onto Ovum, but also onto Choreo is going to be enough to net them that point. Perdo goes down the very last second, but they already won the round at that point. It doesn't even really matter. Cassie trying to get in some team spirit to make sure the rest of her team can.
That's right. Cheer them on.
Yeah, you do. Yeah,
cheer them on, Slop.
You go, girl.
Let them know.
You do your thing.
So there's this trend, and I'm not going to say that's exactly what's happening here, but in the past, you know, when you have your 2 top teams in the region, right, they're probably scrimming each other a lot because it's the best practice. And in that matchup, you know, they each have their map, right? And if Brightmarsh is hypothetically Sour Team's map, then this is one that Penta maybe just don't like to practice a lot, just kind of accept the L on. We'll see how if they can turn it around in this next round, but I don't know. That looked like a pretty snowbally first round. Yeah. And this is a composition from Sour Team that is just going to continue to do this. Grok kind of falls off later on in the game, in my opinion. But in the early game, when he's getting a lot of ultimates, getting all that healing, all of that damage, all that slow, it's a lot of value.
Oh, man, yeah, they're already pushed. You see all 5 of them are grouped up. Sour Team on the right. Everyone's running in. They're trying to do what they can. It's like a Scooby-Doo. They're just running around together, grouped up, trying to make sure everyone's popping out in these different ways. And you see Choreo all the way in the back. Look at how together they are. They wanted to make sure that they did not give up any ground. They did not want to give high ground. And you see it. The 4-man right there with Choreo being the last one. He's going to fall too. Entire team wipe because of Sour Team's positioning.
That's the thing. I mean, you look at that and you say, oh, no, it looks like they're on the back foot. That's really where they're at their strongest. They're playing around Grover and a healing totem, which is essentially 2 healing totems just sitting there, pumping people up. They've got Tempest. They've got Willow to make sure that, you know, they've got the best AoE blaster in the game right now, so they can't be really punished for stacking like that.
Goodness.
And Penta just had no help. There was really no follow-up off of that nice little like stack they got everyone in.
Yeah, they're definitely making sure they group up to keep this pressure going. Ovum goes down. Haste as well. Choreo charges on the point to try and give him a little bit of more time. Salvadopoulos, Choreo go down as well. They are holding such an impressive front right now, being able to group, making sure they're all in that area. I was a little bit worried because I thought the stun was going to come through like for Ash. I misread it just a little bit. I was a little bit worried because I was like, oh, they're all grouping up. If anyone has a stun, then they all feel screwed in that case because they're all grouped up. It's a 5-man. Have to be careful, but I mean, they clutched it out.
Ooh, nice shots here from Uber. Scout will be popped as well from Penta, but they're just grasping for straws at this point. There's not a lot leg to stand on. That first round was so dominant.
Oh my goodness.
Tried to get in there for the dome show, got disengaged away, but still ultimately got the ultimate off where he wanted.
The damage onto Ovum though. He's trying to do what he can, but his team split up. They're literally just standing watching Choreo. They aren't really doing anything. They're just making sure they can stagger them just in the perfect manner. Slappadopoulos, Hayes, Ovum, Boca, Choreo gonna be the last one in Sour Team. Make sure they get another team wipe on Brightmarsh.
24 streak for Ineffable, man. He's actually kind of fragging out. 7-0-17 on the Grover.
Dude.
Peridot is the only one that has died. This is almost the shutout in the most pure sense of the word. Hayes was able to grab at least 1 kill before being laughed out of Brightmarsh.
That's absolutely insane in this case. They are, if you ever heard of the word comeback, this is the definition right here, where they're ended up looking to be able to close out game 1 possibly in this case, because the pick they got on the Choreo. Ovum looks like he's going to be the next one down. They use Fate Flight. They have the Whirlwind still, but didn't even need to pop it.
Okay, well.
Okay, Sour Team.
They turn it around, man. 7 minutes, 30 seconds on the clock. It's almost like that game barely even happened. That's one of the faster Brightmarsh games we've ever seen. And again, a singular kill that whole game for Penta. I mean, that was bad.
Yeah, I mean,
the devs were right.
Oh yeah,
Penta do stink at that map. Or maybe Sour Team are just that good. Man. Maybe a little bit of both.
I mean, I don't even really know what to say, man. 4-0-2 full man team wipes from Sour Team, being able to know how they need to position, making sure that they play to their strengths. They play to the Grover, they play to the Grok, and they're really, really trying to find out what it is they can do. We're going to throw it right back to the desk, though, see what they think about it.
Appreciate it, fellas. Good job on the call down there. Sour Team in Game 3 quadruple the amount of points that they've gotten in this entire set. 4-0, 4-1. 4-0, but for Sour Team this time around. Big turnaround there, Kresnik.
Sure.
I mean, the composition I think that they drafted ended up just working a lot better for him this time.
Yeah, I think just a lot of AoE denial pressure. I mean, they had the Willow, the Grok, all that constant spamming damage. Ubers played a much better game, I think, than before. I saw him hit some really, really crazy air shots onto falling targets there. So great by him, I think. Solid performance by them. They needed this, I think, coming back. We could look at the stats and see exactly who the standouts here really were. Seeing this, Uber's Pady and Peridot, both damages that I tried to... Grok, I mean, he does a lot of damage. That's his job, right? Grok does a lot of damage. I mean, Inari Ying is such a dream composition for Grok. You have all these bounce targets, all these areas to chart. Yeah, exactly. That's like, that used to be like forever ago when Ying was a meta healer, like pre-life exchange. If they went Inari Ying, you're just like, well, all right, we'll just Grok. I mean, it's free low and only one death across the board.
Oh, God. I mean, Peridot, poor guy with the 1 death, but that is brutal. That is a brutal, brutal game for Penta. I mean, I think that one you just have to move on. I mean, I'll ask you this sort of as an ex-competitor, ex-coach. Is it easier just to lose almost convincingly 4-0 as far as moving on? I mean, if you're Penta, you get blown out of the water, and that might even be an understatement. Is it easier just to kind of move on from that, saying, all right, that one was a fluke, let's get it done on the next one?
Yeah, I think so, especially since you're up 2-0 in the set, so you can go to your kind of map. And Ineffable, I didn't mention it when I was talking about AoE pressure, but when you're constantly outputting damage, but you're also have constant outputting healing, and they don't have the illusions up because of all your pressure from your Grok, it adds up. And Ineffable was able to constantly output a lot of healing here. His damage was nothing to shake a stick at either. He really was in there, and that's kind of one of the motifs we've seen in meta healers recently, I'd say.
Right.
Damba kind of falling off a little bit. Teams don't really rely on that CC as much, but they want that Grover damage. They want that Furia damage.
Agreed.
And it's been a really big part of it, and just what makes a healer good right now.
I'll take a triple kill on Grover any day of the week. I mean, in a game that was so fast, the highest damage numbers were in the low 50s, 37K on a healer. I mean, like you said, nothing to shake a stick at. I mean, I guess Grover kind of technically, there's a tree joke somewhere in there for sure. But a fun
you
game
could argue
there
that the axe has a stick as the base attached to the blade.
There's something to be found in there. Chris,
we'll figure it out.
He found his way home. But if our team end up continue playing that way, we might have an interesting set on our hands. Find out how Game 4 goes right after this. Welcome back, everybody. I'm still here. Didn't move nearly an inch at all as we jump into game number 4. Penta, I think, just need to sweep that one to the side. A lone kill in that last game, but also only a lone loss so far in this set. I mean, better drafting, I think, all around, better play from Sour Team, and I think that's important from them. I mean, as much as Penta want to just sweep that one under the rug, Sour Team, you know, that shows them that they can have these big convincing performances. They belong in this set. Now they look towards Game 4 to try to turn something around. In your eyes, was that just better drafting, better play, a little bit of everything?
I think so, yeah. I think just it was such a specific strategy by Sour Team, you can kind of brush it under the rug. And Penta will, I'm sure they're going to look to do that while they come to a map that they might be prepared for. Serpent Beach, very vertical map, as we say a lot. Flanker is very important on this map. And we've actually seen, I feel like, a lot more sniper play on this map lately.
Yeah.
In a weird way.
Knessa, I think there was a Knessa-Strix duel, right? And they ended up just kind of hanging out, not so much, you know, behind the waterfall, but almost like in the high ground right outside of their base, trying to poke down onto the point. That was such an interesting battle. Is there some merit to the snipers on this map?
Knessa, I would say less so Strix. I mean, he doesn't have the verticality. Knessa has the ability to do some weird flank paths off the side, and Strix doesn't have that. He doesn't. When you're rolling out, you said he stopped at the high ground. That's because if he dropped it down, it's like, oh, we need you back up there. Well, tactical retreat's only going to get you so far before that speed boost runs out.
That's right. You got to walk all the way around once you drop down from that one. High ground, name of the game here on Serpent Beach. You know, Maeve has seen some play. Willow has seen some play. Are we going to see more snipers? Let's find out.
Let us find out indeed, gentlemen. Game 4 with Sour Team making it a pretty quick, dust your hands off type of game on Bright Marsh. They did manage to score their first win, but they brought up the fact of snipers. You don't really see him often here, and I do agree with Kresnik. You'll see Knessa more. You'll have a more likely chance seeing Knessa than Strix here.
Yeah, probably something like a 95-5, and there it is.
There it is, Kresnik, Master Brand.
They pick it. We'll see if it works out for him. It is a bit of a pocket strategy, a bit of a niche, if you will, but it's certainly one that Peridot, I think, can fill. It's a little telegraphed sort of how it goes. You know, Knessa kind of sits on her own balcony for a little while, but then most of the time tries to go that sundial side and rotate up onto the enemy high ground, and it's a different strategy from Peridot this time, maybe trying to shake things up.
Yeah, I agree. They are making sure they go up there. 2 illusions directly in front of him, making sure he's pinning this Leon. Fury's going to turn around probably and just try and give the healing every now and again. Macorial slowly pushing, going to back up though. Make sure Ash does not go all the way in there. 30% on the point already for Sour Team. Penta after 6%.
Ooh, looking for the shots on Leon. Can always find that first, but Peridot struggling to find the second. Now looking at Inara.
Oh, gosh.
Looks like it potentially could be a first blood, but a perfect wall from Oven blocks line of sight. First blood still falls all the same. Peridot gets the second.
Yeah, unfortunately for them, he now has free reign just for a little bit of time, 4 more seconds until Leon can really try to contest, find a way to do what she can. Willow is taking shots, but she needs to make sure she tries to control most of that point. 2 minutes, 28 seconds on the clock because of that first point capture for Sour Team, and they're already looking pretty good.
Royal winds up the shoulder bash, does get out of dodge. Bruce Beatty running a Merrymaker Maeve. Not a very common skin. You don't see this one very often.
But I think it's all right. I don't think it's too bad of a skin. These shots, actually, these guys are Oh my gosh, he was so low. Uber's Payday, making sure he finds the daggers it is that he needs to and finishes off the kill on the Haze. But Boca, double kill on his own, triple kill. Sorry, Boca, quadra kill. My bad, Boca. I didn't know you were popping off that hard in this case. He actually does find what he needs in this case, the Inflame as well, provide a little bit of extra damage for him. And I'm at a loss for words. Good on you, Boca. I mean, you did a good job.
It's a lot of bonus damage. And Furia already swings pretty hard. Is one of the only hit scan healer in the game. She's really something else, especially in the offensive side of the field. Ovum backpedaling back up the hill, and his team has to come with him. Yeah. They're in a bit of a spot at the moment. Very vulnerable down here. Below the enemy balcony, Boca's going to pay for it with his life. Not in a position to hold this one down from this particular angle. Coriel takes advantage of the chaos, though, and picks off the enemy sniper.
That is for sure. But Coriel, once again, in a bad spot. 11 seconds on his timer, on his respawn timer. Clarify that. Dead zone to drop onto the point as well. Knows that Maeve's right out there, taking a few shots here and there. Definitely don't want to 1v1 a blaster like that. Yeah, he's going to give him respect. We already see Hayes taking a few shots. Shot after shot on the Canessa, trying to find something to get anything started. Maru's Payday finds his way to swoop in. Definitely wants to do what he can. Now, the Christmas music coming in. Never been more afraid of some Christmas carols.
The bells are jingling, and with them tolls the final bell for Ovum. And Leon pinched in the back corner as well, trying to find a way out of it. Will not. Slopodopoulos goes down, and this is just a different Sour team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what happened. It's like they're slowly but steadily powering up. At first, they were behind, and you already see the kills coming up red, dude. Ovum finds the kill on the William Birkin, but with how many times they're consistently just getting the picks, I don't know who's going to be able to stall in a way that would allow them to defend, and they didn't. Sour team just pushed it in.
You know, they don't have a great answer for this Canessa. Perdo is not making the very stereotypical rotation that I was kind of breaking down earlier. He really is just playing it like a backline. He's sitting right where Leon is sitting, contesting the same angles Leon is contesting, and just doing it better, right? He's the actual sniper in this game. Leon is a nice pseudo-sniper that can transition to mid and close range, but Perdo is the pure DPS, if you will. It's all he does, so he better do it well.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely got to give some credit to the rest of his team being able to follow up, making sure that he has a lot. 0, 1, and 8. Sheepa, yeah, 3, 1, and 6. Looking
That's big
good.
Damn, too.
Feeling good, too, man. Top
Very
damage
rarely do you see a con that high.
Right, exactly.
Very rarely.
You never really see that. Not saying that it's not possible, but you are right. You do very rarely see it, but they're sick and tired of playing passive. Penta want to get in there. The shoulder bash for Coriel is going to keep them in their face. They do find the kill it is that they need. However, most of Sour Team actually just ended up wrapping around. They didn't give them the lead it is that they wanted, but they did get the kill they wanted in that case, and also find one onto Perdo. A couple good shots for Slopodopoulos, making sure that he's able to lower William Birkin for Haste to pick up the kill.
Well, Maeve is still deep in enemy territory. She might be able to get something going. Willow and everyone else is aware of it. Waiting for cooldowns, though. That's the name of the game here. He's about 7 seconds before she can get online and go back in and look for an assassination onto Willow. First 2 knives connect. That's a good start, but Fury is right there to pocket.
Ooh. Yeah, but the Dome Shield goes down to make sure that he forces Yanara right off a point. Seismic crash as well. Haste drops down right in the nick of time. Finds his kill and makes sure that Ovum finds one of his own, as well as Boca. 3 kills for Penta. Coming up, blue. Perdo breaking that blue streak in this case, but Sheepa is going to put it right in blue's favor.
Well, the young comeback mechanic doing a majority of the legwork there. That was a really good attempt from Sour Team. You have to hand it to them. They get 87%. Uprooted one single time, and they just can't get it going after that point. Still have the Midnight online for Sour Team. Still have the Fae Flight. Almost another Enflame if they want it as well. Enflame into the Fae Flight could be a very deadly combination. And you have to imagine Sour Team are aware of that. I mean, look at how inside they're fighting right now.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, oh, but the overpower.
Fae Flight it. No.
No, it's so unfortunate for him. He wanted to save it just a little bit longer when he comes back. Probably going to end up using it in the right moment. Sheepa was already ready. Made sure that he actually yeeted that Willow off of the side. Definitely make sure they're stalling their aggression. In this case, Penta being forced to back up, but Haste already back making sure he's applying some damage to that payload. Well, to that point where everybody else is.
Here comes the Inflame. Are we going to see the Fae Flight as well? Yes, sirree, we will.
Yeah,
but the angles, where are they?
Oh, right, yeah. I mean,
there they are.
Here they are, right here.
We found them.
Of course, yeah, I found them. No problem. Well, we both found them in this case. You did mention the angles. Say the name, they will appear, or at least you, in this case, you will see it. They are taking some pretty good angles, but Perdot with a double kill of his own, it's going to be enough.
Yeah, shutting it all down. I mean, having a sniper, having, frankly, even Storm of Bullets Khan, feels like enough. I mean, he kind of peeked around the corner for a second, and Khan got on his case and immediately kind of shut that Fae Flight down. Had he peeked any harder, Perdot probably would have just obliterated him right out of the sky. It's a very easy shot, I think, for a player of Perdot's caliber at this point in his career. Playing with a fun little angle there between the boxes for anyone who would dare contest his payload.
Yeah, he is. Taking a few shots here and there, really looking for his opportunity to lower them, or at least force Penta out of that little orange room right there. A few shots from Slopadopoulos are going to make sure they can find a little bit of damage. Nothing too crazy, though. Enlightenment is up along with Seismic Crash, along with Assert Dominance, but 3 ultimates are about to be up on Sour Team side as well. 1v1 happening between this Khan and Willow. Khan being forced back. Uber's Payday trying to give him as much support as he can.
I like that try, though. I like that angle. I think that's the right way to go. Dome Shield getting got. Ovum getting some value already. Might still be able to push this barrack down. Nah, he's getting healed up. Ooh. But his team is winning the fight on the backside. I'm actually surprised by that.
I am too. The dagger's actually coming through. Slopadopoulos turns right around. turns
Say
right
what,
around.
little boy?
He turns right around. At first, I was like, okay, well, he's not really taking he's not turning around to kill him.
Oh, man.
And he just slowly just points it. You hear Neil, and you just see him slowly turn behind where Maeve is.
That was funny. I was actually about to comment on that. The speed with which he turned around was so just like, you dare defy me? Smacks him into next week. Unfortunately, it's still not an offense complete. That defensive point was on the board for Sour Team. So they are going to go up 3-1 here, but back to 50% on the Enlightenment. AKA already back to 86% with the damage he did in the rest of that team fight. A good look here. They got the Dome Shield out. William Birkin got back to 42%, but that's a pretty slow charging ultimate. They got Illusory Rift out as well. And Overpower is not the most impactful ultimate on the Serpent Beach mid, so all in all, I think ultimate economy far and away in favor of Penta. Comeback mechanic, obviously still active as they are, down 2 points. So a lot of resources to work with. This is absolutely Penta's fight to lose.
Yeah, definitely can understand that as well. I see him grouping up. The Inflame is there in this case. They aren't using it, but they definitely are being a lot more aggressive than you would expect. The Maeve ult comes out to make sure they can counter a little bit of that aggression. A few shots here and there from Penta onto Uber's Payday is going to be enough, but Haste wants to make sure he can find the Kinessa, finds the shots he needs to kill him.
I think he caught him reloading.
He does find the Choreo, goes down as well to Sheepa. Man, dude, he's just free firing.
Yeah, he's just pumping right now. And normally Kinessa can get away from that, but I think I saw the reload animation going off. Unfortunate. Headhunter is popped here. Hopefully something can get going. Ovum throws at the wall to keep himself safe, but an overtime is already enabled for Penta. They have the 6-man on their side. Now somebody from Sour Team has to be nearby at all times.
That's for sure. The Assert Dominance already in the back line to force this Khan away. They do get the kill on the William Birkin shoulder bash. Get a little bit more damage, and Slopadopoulos comes in, dusts his hands off, make sure he pops Sheepa right in the head. Now I was looking at Perdot. A couple shots are going to leave him dead as well. Now the Ying is being forced back, just trying to get a few dismounts here. Misses the shot onto the barrack, but the fact that he was there applying that pressure might be enough, but he might be in the wrong spot. But the heal comes in from Furia. Clutch skirts his way out of that situation. Make sure he can live to fight another day.
Quick little dash. Haste gets the information. 2 up top. I'm going to drop down. See if I can't help this Ashe get through. Look at that. A little bit of a mispositioning, maybe an overcommitment, if you will, from Uber Spady. And he gets punished for it. Sheepa very low on the high ground as well.
Gosh,
nice
dude.
Use of the angles and the blast radius here to capitalize on that kill. Haste is playing so well today.
He is. Doesn't want Sheepa to get away. Wants to make sure he can capitalize on those kills. Now he's at the top of the damage charge. You used to see Khan. Now Haste on the Willow being top of the food chain here. 3 kills for Penta, man. They're waking up in their own right. They don't want to go down like this. They want to make sure they can fight and put a fight up that's going to cause Sour Team to at least reconsider something.
Yeah, Khan is bleeding fast on the objective. Barrick's going to take his place, but it's just a perpetual man-down fight. Peridot evens up the score for a moment. Corio quickly answers back.
Nice.
Both tanks dead. Payload goes through. Score is 3-3.
This could be it for Penta in the sense of they could end up closing out this game. Or Sour Team really could just end up, once again, winning another, making sure that they sort of try to reverse sweep this in this case. We have seen Sour Team do it before. But, however, that in itself, that is only yet to be seen. Just get good shots here, though, from Papadopoulos. He's really just in this good spot. Want to be able to hold this bridge, hold that high ground.
Well, pretty damn good slash line for the console player turned PC. I think, to my knowledge, the only player to do so, and having a good run of it. Gets on the Penta squad. Has a great game, has a great set, has a great phase so far, proving that the sticks can translate to the keys rather effectively if you put in the time and the work. My man has the Wrecker 3, caught 2 online, so he's ready to frag. He's ready to get in there, and there's nobody that can stand in his way. Not no healer, not no tank.
Yes, our team wraps around them. Oh my goodness, Peridot in a good spot. The daggers from Uber's Payday as well is going to snipe that Willow right out of the sky. 2 kills for them. Midnight is here. Make sure that she's getting a few Christmas daggers off, trying to find some damage onto their backline. In this case, Ovum. I'm sorry. Just like, you see like Barrick like pull up beside her and just drop the dome shield to make sure that she actually can't do what she needs to. And in this case, William Birkin goes down, followed by Ineffable. Hayes finds the kills for an opening for Penta in this case. And the damage on the Sheep is going to be enough to overpower him.
Shooting from the top down here, Hayes is in the advantage, but 78%. It's already a pretty big lead. Overpower's ready. Headhunter's almost back up. Enlightenment is the only ultimate Penta are sitting on right now. Enflame is going to be the next one to come up, and that's admittedly a pretty big one. We'll have to see what the Sour Team frontliners do. Headhunter popped again. Peridot, can he save the game again?
I mean, in this case, it's really he's trying to find his way on, but the overpower is going to be enough, and he's not going to throw him away. Doesn't want the Enlightenment to go off or anything like that. Definitely wants to make sure they can stagger. Slavadopoulos is down. Corio will be the next one to fall. This is looking pretty game so far for Sour Team, but at the same time, though, Ovum finding an opening on a William Birkin with the ultimate still being up on Penta's side is going to be something special. The damage is coming through. The kills are coming up blue now, and now Penta's awake. They're alive, ladies and gentlemen. They are alive and well with clutching that out the very last second. That's good on them.
That's good, man. That's good work by Penta. That's a tough one to bring back. 78% is a big hole to climb out of, especially being in dire straits, not once, but twice, being down 2 people at the start of that team fight. I mean, that one, that feels like it was in the hands of Sour Team, and they just let it slip.
Right, exactly. I mean, I thought it was going to go to Sour Team at first because I was like, oh, William Burke is back on point. They've eliminated who it is they need to. But
2 for nothing to start it off.
Right,
I'm
exactly.
Like, okay.
Yeah, I was like, Slavadopoulos goes down, then Corio, and I'm like, okay, well, this is looking pretty dicey, but Penta does close it out 3-1. We're going to throw it right back to Des and see what they think.
Pretty dicey and no dice for Sour Team this time around. Well, 1 dice, I guess. They get 1 win in this set. 3-3 or 4-3, I should say, in the last game is as close as we got. 4-0s, 4-1s, pretty much across the board. But Penta seal things out on Serpent Beach in convincing fashion. Kresnik, I think, you know, kind of across the board. I mean, if you're taking this one just kind of at face value, I think Bolka maybe is the MVP of this set. Huge games on the Furious. Papadopoulos as well came to play. Looking like a revitalized Penta.
Yeah.
Hard to say which way to go on this one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, against Sour, it's interesting that they would come like this when they were so close to each other against All Business before. I mean, looking at it, you said Bolka, MVP of the set, maybe. He out-healed a Ying on Furia, and that's not the easiest thing to do, I feel. Especially with the amount of raw healing output that Ying has. But I think Hayes was actually really huge on that map. At the very last fight, his ability to spam the wall, get over the Khan shield. It's one of Khan's biggest weaknesses, just being able to protect himself completely. And outside of a great dive by Ubers to pressure him during the Fae Flight, he was just doing a ton of almost uncontested damage.
Yeah, and I think that's a good game for Hayes to kind of really put his flag in this set. I mean, disappeared is a heavy, almost unfair word. I mean, he's had some consistent games, hasn't been, you know, super flashy. We've seen huge performances out of him in the past, but a big Willow game here as well to supplement what Bulk and Slapidopoulos were able to do. And, you know, Willow's in a very strong spot right now. Takes a good player to make full use.
And also, it shows the power of Blast Flower, too, I feel. Just the ability to chip someone barely around a corner and still build those stacks to find a confirm a little bit later is so huge. And you can even see the ability to just, like, flutter up with that new buff, too. All these changes are big. And I know we heard there might be some changes coming to her from some AOC members in the future, but I have a feeling her power level won't be touched too much.
Yeah, I mean, she's in a good spot right now in the sense that you want her on your team because she is certainly very good.
For sure.
But a good performance here from Penta after some tough losses in recent weeks. You bounce back against the #1 seed team in Sour Team, get yourself a nice 3-1 win. And now our second set of the day, all business one-trick pony. That becomes a lot more interesting now with Sour Team falling, technically loss-wise. All business is up in first. If they're able to seal this one out in pretty convincing fashion, they'll now be your first-place team. And they've been playing well. I think they could do it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think this is a really good check for kind of how the teams are actually going to hold out. You know, all business beating both these others. If they can also take down one-trick pony, they really do establish themselves as the best team in this region.
Well, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. You're going to have to wait just a little bit, though, right on the other side of this break.
Skillshot, the official production partner of the Paladins minor league.